Welcome to Game, Set and Chat, where we're serving up tennis talk every week to help you improve your game. Lads, episode 7. It's Clay's week. All the girls are coming into town.
It's mega.
It's the start of a crazy couple of weeks, but we absolutely love it. We're not here to talk about Clay's this week, though, because we are here to talk about team tennis and college tennis, and that's why we've got Mr. Houston Jacques here with us from Middle Tennessee State University. So, Houston, first ever guest. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. Big fan of the show, so this is going to be a great time.
He's told us he's listened to all 2 episodes, so, you know.
2, yeah.
He's a really big fan, obviously. But seriously, thanks for taking some time. You know, super busy grinding in the summer, training. So appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us.
Let's do it. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I've seen him been working hard, and I'm excited to get to talk to him about team tennis today. Before we get on to team tennis, just brush over some of the Clays and some of the things going on. First bit of homework is the trivia question from last week.
Yes.
So we've had a lot of responses this week. A lot of people have been really interested. And I said I was going to post it on social media, and just the build-up was so big that I thought, well, we'll wait till the next pod to announce. So how many states are represented in this year's Clay Court Nationals? Did you take a guess last week, Philip?
No, I did not.
Do you want to take a guess?
How many states? Let's go with 35.
Okay. Hugh, what was yours?
I talked to you today, and I said 41, and I thought that was going to be pretty close. But
okay, so this year, I say only, but 29 states. 29 states.
That's
now, last
very
year it was
surprising.
40.
Okay.
yeah.
So if you're listening to the pod and you're not making it this year, girls, where are you?
Where are we?
Right. Wow.
I will say this. I had a Facebook message from someone that will be anonymous.
Yes.
If you're listening, you know who you are. You may have guessed 57. Let's let that sink in for a second.
I don't think that necessarily works.
So the answer to 57 would be no.
Maybe, let's be generous. Let's
Yeah.
have some grace.
Yeah.
Maybe they were thinking it to include U.S. territories.
Does that even still get to 57?
I don't know. But if we're being graceful,
I mean, that's
maybe.
a bold
Maybe
move.
that's what they were thinking, right?
That's a bold move.
Puerto Rico, Guam, some other islands and stuff. Maybe that's what they were thinking. I don't know.
I like to think it's a typo, so
Yeah.
we just say maybe it was a 47 or a 37 guess, who knows. But yes, 57, they were not correct. 29 states represented, which is still pretty awesome,
Cool.
all over the country. And I'm going to post on social media a breakdown of which states are represented. So
Nice.
that's our little Clays brush up. Houston, what memories do you have of clay courts?
Had a lot of memories. Played it 3 times. I went 1 time with my godfather, really cool experience. Then went with my mom, actually, which is new. Those are the only 2 tournaments I've ever gone to with my mom.
Okay, I'm going to have to pause right here.
Yeah,
You didn't play in this tournament.
I did not.
Okay.
Yes.
Because this is
This is girls 16s.
women's
yeah.
16s. Okay, so where is the gentlemen's 16s?
Yeah, so
boys?
boys 16s and 18s are in Delray Beach, so
Okay.
another really hot place. Very humid
Nice.
there. The air is thick. It's tough.
I wanted to get clarification before somebody
yeah, so
started
I
asking
didn't,
why.
I didn't play in the one here.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
You would dominate the 16s women's.
I think I would do. All
I think
right.
he'd do all right.
I
yeah,
would do.
yeah.
I would do all right.
Pretty high level tennis. So Houston College Tennis, Middle Tennessee State University, going
Yes.
into your
Sophomore
sophomore year next year. Talk us through what that experience has been like.
It's been unreal, honestly. Going into it, a little nervous. I mean, first year of college, I feel like most people are pretty nervous. But I mean, just like I couldn't have asked for better teammates, better atmosphere, better coaching staff than what I had this past year. Like going into it being injured was obviously very difficult. Sitting on the bench and like not being able to participate in practice is obviously very tough. But I mean, the team very supportive, coaches very supportive, and have been so far throughout the summer. Still maintaining those relationships with the guys who left this past year. But I mean, literally would not ask for any other experience than what I had this year. Just an all-around amazing time, and I'm really looking forward to year 2. It's going to be great.
Sweet. So as a USTA rec level player, we play on teams.
Right.
Where they're sort of picked depending, but one of the things that can be tough is like not having the same lineups all the time, not playing with the same partners, especially when you're playing a lot of doubles. That can be pretty tough. With college tennis, how is that different or the same, right? Because a lot of us, we watch the pro game. Even when you're playing doubles, typically you get to choose your partner.
Right.
You play with them, at least in a tournament, you're playing with them several matches in a row if you're doing well. We may not get to play with the same partner several matches in a row. Does college work like that, or how does it work?
Yeah, so I mean, that's where the coaching staff comes into play, I would say, is they're the ones making the lineup. They're the ones watching you at practice and at tournaments every single day. So the lineup for us, for singles, rarely changed, maybe 4, 5, and 6 a little bit throughout the year. Doubles is where it changed basically every week, honestly. I mean, for the first month of the season, it was pretty much the same, and then from that point on, he was trying new teams. And also, before we go any further, shout out Coach Jimmy. I heard he followed the podcast on Instagram.
The MTSU coach follows our Instagram, and I was loving it.
Best coach in the country. He's the greatest. But yeah, we changed the doubles lineup a good bit. He was able to give guys experiences in the lineup and getting the college experience and stuff. That was happening for me as well. I got to play with our number 2 guy at line 1 doubles for a couple matches this year. Played at line 3, played at line 2, and that was kind of going out for everyone. I mean, Andre and Kareem, who were 1 point away from being All-Americans, they played at 1 to start the year, and then from that point on, I mean, I played with Kareem. Antoine, who came to Huntsville, he was here for Thanksgiving. He played with Andre at 3. He played with Andre at 2. We had Bert play with a couple guys at 2 and 3. I mean, it's mixing all the time.
And I think, we can look at the college game and we can look at the rec game, and we can say in the college game, you're looking at the coaches who get together and try and find personalities that work together. And it seems like it was a bit of an experimental year for the team.
Yeah.
Which is often the case if you get some new characters, is you're trying to find who gels with each other. But they're also probably a really important thing for us to say at the rec level is there are team captains.
Yeah.
And it's relatively important for the team captain to think that through and try and find good teams and pairs that play together. I know it doesn't happen often, but my message to some team captains is let's think about that from multiple standpoints, not just how your tennis kind of matches, but personality can often be a big factor.
Yeah, and I'll say, having been a USTA captain, part of the problem is availability, right? So we're playing on almost any night of the week and everything, and so somebody may, in other words, we may say there's 2 guys that want to play together, but they're not available on the same nights. You got to get your matches in. You got to make a line. So you may not have a choice, right, whether you can put guys together or ladies together. So that's a little bit of it, but I also think definitely trying to consider attitude, not just play styles, because really if you put 2 people on the court where one person really wants to be like, oh, let's go, and the other person's like, hey, why don't we just
for sure,
why don't we just calm down, right? We're playing rec tennis, then that's kind of oil and water.
Well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that can have some bad outcomes too.
Yeah.
So
that was the case for us this year as well. He was big on trying to mesh personalities well, because I mean, you're playing tennis, yes, but you also have to be a team out there, which is a huge part of doubles, especially in college tennis when it's a 6-game pro set or 6-game set with no ad. So I mean, it's so quick, and you got to be able to mesh well with your teammate, or it's not gonna go amazing.
Yeah, and I think when we talk team tennis, right, and whether it be a rec level that's going to state or a college team that's competing throughout the season together, the team aspect of this is really unique for a lot of tennis players that just compete by themselves week in, week out. Yeah. Now, we talk about doubles a lot on the podcast, and that's the main game played in rec tennis, but even when you're competing in singles, it's a completely different feel to have a team behind you.
Right.
a different feel to have people playing at different times as well. And so you're watching your teammates and you're supporting and cheering them on, and you're trying to build that culture as a team, which I think MTSU sounds like they've got a really good culture going on. Sounds like that was one of your favorite things about it. But Houston, speak about the transition from individual, I'm playing tournaments by myself, to, well, now I'm representing a team. And I also want to talk about it from a mentality standpoint. Right. So talk us through that.
Yeah, I mean, for me this past year, I didn't get to play much singles, which is completely understandable. Our team is nasty. Like, our team's really solid. So I got to see it from both ways. I got to play some, and I was on the bench for a good bit. And playing USTA tennis for like my whole entire life, it is a completely different set of nerves, like atmosphere, experience, everything. So being on the bench is your whole job is to cheer on your teammates, and like if you're not doing a good job with that, the other team is, and so you got to be able to step up, do that job, build your teammates up, because it's a very important role in the college matches.
It's a massive role.
Yeah,
and that's kind of a wild thing. I haven't watched a lot of college, but when I do watch a little bit of it,
it's
like
loud.
It is. Yeah, it's like going to a college football game or any other college sport. I mean, people are just jumping up and yelling, and you win the point. They're like, ah! I'm like, I would lose crazy. My mind if I was trying to play a tennis match and that was going on around me. I would not know what to do, because the rest of tennis is, hey, can you guys quiet it down over there? We're trying to play a point, right?
Yeah, and that's another thing, like you said, like it can be a little bit distracting, because I mean all six lines of the team are playing at the same time, with the bench guys on both teams cheering on. So I mean, you're looking on court 3 and there's a match on court 1, you're cheering over those courts in front of you in the middle of the point, in the middle of a serve toss. Like, you got to be ready for every single noise that goes on during the matches.
And I'll kind of go back to our hot takes episode, right? And one of my biggest hot takes is, if you want to get better at something, you have to practice it. And so for our juniors listening that aspire to play college tennis, as a college tennis coach, you're looking for players that have that experience. Yeah. You're looking for players that have thrown themselves in from a junior level, and there are junior team tennis events you can seek out, even if it's just a 2-team tennis event, like a dynamic duo type. And if these words are new to you, I encourage you to be looking them up, because if you want to get better at something, you have to practice something. Yeah. I think Houston was quite lucky being around the club of how many team things he was able to participate in from a young age, right? Houston, while you were sort of between 12 and 18, we threw a ton of team tennis events at the club to get you ready for that.
Yes, and I would say another huge thing about that is getting used to playing in front of like fans. And Jack Frost and certain tournaments we did here at the club, it's been so helpful. Like, I mean, there's been guys that, like, not necessarily at MTSU, but other people that I know at different colleges and stuff, that it's nerve-wracking to play in front of fans.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you got that experience, even just going out here and practicing, but it's, in the summer, and there's people on the patio having dinner, and they're razzing you and giving you grief, hit a double fault. Oh, okay, I see. All right. I need to get a little more serve practice in, Houston? So.
I think that comes mostly from you, but.
Way to call me out. Not undeservedly.
You have a good ball machine story.
I mean,
if you want to, bring. Oh
yeah, right that's so awesome.
Retaliation right now.
Yeah, retaliation. So the other day, what was I doing? I was just hitting with. Yeah, I was just having a practice hit, and Houston has the ball machine next to me. And he sets it up, and then he disappears for a few minutes. And I'm like, what did he do, right? Then he finally comes back out, and I'm like, Houston, are you going to practice, or are you just lollygagging? He goes, I forgot my rackets. Yeah. So I yelled at him, well, way to watch the podcast, buddy. About preparation, right?
Yeah, that was a tough moment for me. Haven't forgot my rackets at home in a long time. Usually keep them upstairs, but I chose to take them home the day before, and the one time I take them home, I forget them at home. Yeah, tough moment for me.
So his brother, Parker, is having a lesson on the court next to us, and so at some point Houston's over there hitting, and I walk over to Parker and say, hey Parker, when Houston's done, you need to tell him to quit swinging his purse at those balls and actually hit something. And Parker looks up and sees you hitting and goes, yeah, it sounds like he's hitting with green dots, doesn't it? And I was like, oh, that's never heard that, but that is amazing. So then I walk back over, and at some point I yell over to Houston, are you hitting with green dots? And he just gives me this confused look like, what? And then he figures it out and he just goes, oh.
Yeah.
Then he
That was
started
tough.
really hitting the ball.
Yeah.
And then
it was
that's when the gunshots were going off. I'm like, okay, I might have made him mad. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty good one.
I think that we kind of went off track, but I think I think it's important because
For
that
sure.
sort of banter,
Yeah.
as we like to say in England, that's what you're going to get with team tennis.
Practice too at college. You got to get used to people talking trash all the time at college.
Right? Like there's banter going back and forth at a rec level. There's banter going back and forth. There's all sorts of that kind of thing, and if you don't have any experience of playing with that, it can rock some people.
For sure. Yeah.
From a mentality standpoint, I want to talk through what it means to play as an individual where, if you lose, of course, you've got yourself to think about. And of course, no one wants to lose a match.
Right.
And then you put a team behind you. And all of a sudden, if you lose your match, it impacts more than just yourself.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
That is an enormous amount of pressure.
Yeah.
And pressure is a privilege, and you can learn to cope with that, and you can see it as a good thing. And win or lose, you'll have a team that backs you, but it is a different kind of thought process when you're out there and you got, your team looking for you to pull out a win.
Yeah. I mean, for this past year, playing in doubles wasn't necessarily the most confident I've ever been in tennis. The past however many months, I'm getting to a good spot. But playing doubles on when I was playing with Kareem on line one in big matches, and knowing the team needs this win to get the doubles point, that's one of the toughest spots I think I've ever been in, when not having the confidence in tennis and then having the pressure of the team. Wasn't able to pull that match out, and just, man, I don't think I've actually ever felt a loss kind of hurt that bad. And it's 1-6 for doubles. I mean, you might have an experience because you played more college tennis, more singles matches. Have you had an experience where it's been a clinch situation and took an L? Because I can't really imagine how bad.
Luckily, no match came down to me
Okay.
on a clinch on a singles court. I've lost the doubles clinch before,
Yeah.
but I have also had the opposite experience. I was fortunate enough to have a pretty successful freshman year with a team that was struggling.
Okay.
And that's also a really unique experience because as an individual, you're going out there and you feel good about your tennis and you're doing well. And yet it doesn't count for diddly because the team, right?
Team's
So
first.
you learn to sort of take things on differently, and really you're just celebrating the success of a team. So that
Right.
was a really odd experience because although, objectively I looked at my season and thought, okay, pretty
it's a
happy
good
with
year.
that.
Right.
That's a decent year. It did not feel like that at all,
Right.
And so that's an odd experience too. I think, Philip, I want you to talk about when you take an L, how, you've got to give yourself some grace because it doesn't always come down to your court, even if it feels like it.
Right.
Yeah, so I have a little bit different perspective because growing up,
Okay.
I didn't play tennis.
Okay.
I played team sports.
Right.
So pee-wee football, soccer, even into college playing with the fraternity, playing
Right.
intramural sports, playing soccer, playing football, and then I started playing hockey,
Right.
rec league hockey, right? So all of my sports experience before I started playing tennis
Was team.
was teams.
Okay.
Right. So when I first started playing tennis and I'm playing singles, I'm like, well, okay, this is fun, but it didn't really feel the same. And then somebody goes, well, you should play doubles. And I'm like, oh, wait, you can play team in
Yeah.
tennis? Like, that's great.
Yeah.
Right. Because I've always never been the star on any team. Right. So I took the joy from what little bit could I do to help the team, because I was never going to be that person that necessarily won the game. Right.
Okay.
So if my team did well and I felt like I contributed, then I took a lot of pride in that. Like, okay, like even in high school, I rarely started or played, but I was a good practice like the coach
Right.
would be like, hey, the stars, you need to run like Philip does,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's actually practicing hard. So
Right.
I took pride in helping them be better, right? So
Right.
that was always the sort of sports experience that I had coming up and before I started playing tennis. So
Right.
tennis was very different. But because of the team aspect of it, where there's actually not just everybody on one team playing one game of playing all the lines, especially it can be tough when you lose your line. Like, say if you're the last one playing,
Right.
you lose and you think, oh man, I could have clinched it. I mean, yeah, but those other guys could have won their lines too,
Exactly.
right? And so just because you happen to be the last one playing, it kind of feels like
It feels like a negative thing that you were out there longer than some of the
correct.
other people.
But
right?
maybe that person that lost 6-1, 6-2 could have
Right. Yeah.
could have done a little more. But
100%.
but yeah, so you just have to take care. You have to control what you can control. Play the best you can play, and because there's going to be some times when you're the last one playing and you get the dub,
Yeah.
and it's going to feel amazing. Did you win it for the team? I mean, the other guys winning their lines or the other ladies
Yeah,
winning their lines
exactly.
won it for the team as well, right?
Right.
So team win, like in other team sports, it's a huge thing. Everybody's going to tell you, team win, team loss.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that gets me onto, I really like how Philip was talking about the contribution factor, because it gets me onto something that I think we can learn from more traditional team sports when we apply it to tennis. And that is, I think one of the biggest differences between an individual tennis player who's playing individual tournaments and matches, they're only having to think about what they're putting forward and for themselves.
Right.
Right. How to get me in the best shape possible, in the best mindset possible.
Right.
And I think that's what tennis players sometimes struggle with, is when you're on a team, what you put out in the ether makes a massive difference.
For sure.
Right? So it's all about building team culture, and it's no longer about me just thinking about myself and how do I get match ready? How do I do the best job for myself?
Yeah.
It's how am I approaching match day to help Billy and Ted perform?
Right.
How do I talk to my teammates on match day? And you know what? Yes, everyone needs to be themselves as individuals, but there is a factor where you need to start considering other people. Something else we can learn from team sports, and again, this is a bit of a passionate speech, but I think it's so important is, I like how Houston spoke about the fact that he was on the bench this season. Philip talks about how the fact that he was, a bit of a kind of join it together kind of player, maybe not the main superstar, but everybody has a part to play, right?
Yeah.
So when you're a bench player, how you turn up that day,
Oh, it's so important.
how you practice, how you hit the ball with the partner, how you get ready, how you prepare, and how you be able to give as much of yourself to the team as possible to help the team succeed is massive.
Yeah.
Furthermore, you never know when you're going to be needed. Right? Houston, you could have been 2 minutes away from the start and someone rolls their ankle,
Right.
and before you know it, boom, you're in. So although you may think, oh, I'm a bench player today,
Right.
you have to constantly get yourself ready to perform and ready to go.
Yeah.
Word of advice for anyone that's ever sat on the bench, okay, you can tie this into team sports, but I'm talking about tennis, you don't play that day. Well, what are you going to do after the match?
Right.
Are you going to go out there and have a training session? Because that's what the team needs of you to be able to perform the next week.
Right.
And just giving yourself an opportunity always to put your best foot forward, because that's what the team needs.
For sure.
I think also what you can do if you're on the bench and you're a spectator, as Houston said, for college tennis, right, you're expected to be the cheerleader, but I think that you can still improve your game as you're watching.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would imagine you guys are practicing very specific things,
Very.
right? So if you're on the bench, obviously you're not executing those, but you can mentally execute them, right?
For
You can
sure.
think, okay, the guys did X in situation, we've been working on it. Remember that and say, hey, okay, when we go back to practice, we can. I mean, I'm assuming you're also reviewing video and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But still, you can mentally be in the match and trying to think, what would I have done there? Is that the right shot? Would I have tried to make a different shot selection? And just by being an active watcher,
For sure.
right, rather than just passive, you can exercise the mind, right, and you can start to see the game in a different way, and that way you can sharpen your mind even if you're not out there sharpening the physical skills.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So Houston, being, some of your time on the bench this year, were you able to, give more of yourself as a spectator? That was probably a unique experience to think about, well, how do I give the best for my team? I'm sat here, I'm watching, Billy or whoever it might be. How do I influence this match for the better?
Yeah, and I think I got to give a big shout out to our captains for this past year, Kareem and Andre, our two seniors who have been there their whole career. they were very adamant on, hey, if you're on the bench, like, you have just as important a role. I know you're not playing in the match, but, like, we need you. Like, we really need you for this specific match. And I think from the very beginning, we had a lot of team-led meetings from those guys. And from the very beginning of the season, I was already in the mindset, like, all right, I got to show up on match day as well. If I'm playing doubles, great. I got to go play doubles, do my thing. And then once singles comes around, I got to be able to perform off the stinking tennis court and get out there and try to be as good as I can in that aspect. And that was with our whole team as well. For the other guys who got subbed out, there was never really a time where, like, hey, we had a guy playing 5 who got subbed out for one match. He wasn't down. Like, he knows what we got to go do, and, like, we got to go cheer on our guys because it's going to be a battle for 4 hours. Like, they need us. They need our energy. We can't go be quiet.
I've got something on that I think that's interesting. Listen to you guys talk about it, because you coming from a very tennis-centric point of view, you basically raised in the tennis community and that mindset. And again, coming from a more team sports oriented background, some of the things you guys are saying, I'm like, well, yeah, that's just teams. But I think it's interesting when we think about it, not just from a tennis perspective, but from a personal maturity perspective, right? And you always hear, oh, sports is great for people and it instills all these values. I think a lot of that comes from team aspects of it, right? Sure. How to be supportive of other people even when you're not in the starring role. And so it's kind of interesting to hear you that the college experience is helping you get that out of tennis. Yeah. Whereas, like, if you listen to the pro interviews and stuff, and all they've done is just the normal straight through path, and they're going and they talk about how lonely it is and how they sometimes have a hard time communicating with people and making connections and stuff because it's a solitary sort of sport. And so it's kind of cool that there's a way that we can have high level tennis, right, that is also helping young people get the team aspect of it and developing the positive aspects that come from team sports, not just sports. Yeah. And I think we've seen that as the U.S. college system has started putting more college players making it to the pros. When you listen to them talk, they talk about that. Yeah. They talk about the maturity level that they come out of college with. And I think it's directly attributable to some of these things that Houston is saying is kind of becoming new to him, where, you know, he can't sulk because he didn't get to play that day, right? He still has a role and a job to play on the team, to be supportive of his teammates. Right. And if you have that mentality, then when you go and have a bad day, from like us in the office or whatever, you know, you sort of know how to deal with that. It's just it's something that you've learned from as a maturity level, you know, sort of personality thing. It's kind of interesting to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it goes both ways on a team, right? We've spoken about being the bench player, but I really like that Houston's brought about a couple of names that led the team, because it comes from the top down too, of, you know, being a team player. Well, whether you're on the bench or whether you're the number one and you're always starting and maybe you're a team captain, the best thing you can do for the team is not just think about yourself, but the best thing you can do for a team is go look at the guys that are maybe lower down the lineup, that are battling every day for a spot in the lineup, or the bench guys, and be the best version of yourself for them to bring them along, because in a team, everyone brings each other along, right?
Yeah, I would say something real quick. My dad used to say with my older brother, Parker, everyone on the team is doing the exact same thing every day, day in, day out, practicing workouts, all the certain stuff, warm-ups before matches, team warm-ups before matches, except for about 30 things, and that's the 30 singles matches that you play. So, I mean, that's 30 times of tennis. That might sound like a lot, but compared to the 180 times that everyone's playing together, like, you're doing the exact same thing. Everyone on the team's doing the same thing, except for 6 guys are doing 30 things more sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for our young listeners, for some of the Clays girls that hopefully tuned in last week to our tournament prep episode, we just had a level 2 tournament. I was happy to hear a couple of level 2 lads listening in. You know who you are. Really appreciate that. You know, look at team tennis and think, am I getting the practice at this that I need? Am I, you know, putting myself into team situations from a young age? And then take some of the lessons that Houston's showing you, that our experience shows you of team tennis, that coaches speak about, and see if you can do that from a young age. It takes a lot of maturity, but I'll tell you, as a college tennis coach, that is going to go a heck of a long way in recruiting you than your singles results. You know, Houston, I'm going to big you up for a sec. I had no doubt that Houston was going to be heavily recruited and a really good team tennis player, because that's the values that we install here at ACA from a very young age. And we know what it takes to be a good, successful teammate in college tennis. And so that takes practice. And note players that are looking for college tennis. It's not just about your singles results. It's not just about how you perform on a court. Coaches specifically look for, are you a good teammate? Are you going to be good as a team member? Are you going to be good for the culture?
And I would say, like, for the kids who are like still doing USTA events, all the team events that are out there, I think you got to go play them. Like, I mean,
so that's where I was going to come and say, encourage the parents to not just think of it as an individual sport, right? Sure. Take the opportunity, even if your child is specialized at tennis, right, as opposed to playing a bunch of different sports, but take the opportunities to get them the team sport part of the tennis, so that not just to develop their game, but also to develop them as a person, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say my favorite USTA tournaments throughout my whole time playing was Southern Cup, which is our however many 9-10 states in the southern region. You get the 3 people from boys and girls 12s all the way up to boys and girls 18s, and there's however many people on the team, and you go down to Rome, Georgia for 5 days or whatever it is. You have dinner with the team, you're cheering teammates on, and you're an 18-year-old cheering on a 12-year-old girl. Like, you got to be there for her. Like, she's awesome. Battling as well. So it's pretty cool.
All right.
So, Houston.
Yes.
Talk us through TGA.
Wow. Yeah.
Tennis Golf Association. Okay, Philip's giggling because we were definitely going to get this on the pod at some point. Houston, tell everyone about what TGA is. Keep it brief.
Yeah, so TGA is our sport that was created here at Athletic Club Alabama. Pretty special. Got created about 5 years ago. We've been holding tournaments for, I don't know, we've probably had, I mean,
you're talking maybe 50 tournaments in 4 different venues.
I mean, it's been a crazy experience.
So what it is tennis golf. You're hitting a tennis ball with the tennis racket. We have 18-hole golf courses mapped out by Houston Jacques.
We've got 4 different courses here at Athletic Club Alabama with different stumps, trees, anything you can imagine. We've got out-of-bounds lines. We've got water lines. The courts are water. Concrete's water. I personally think it's the best sport in the world.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
See, that's crazy. I didn't know you had this take on our tennis golf.
Let me finish.
Okay.
It's awesome, but it's hilarious. Because what it shows you is that competitors will compete at anything. So here's a sport that they have made up, and you're like, oh, you're just going out for a hit and a giggle.
No,
it's not. They are serious. They are walking around with multiple rackets with different tensions and different strings. And like Eddie gets out there, the owner, and he is on it. I'm shooting under par today, and just like it doesn't matter because it's a competition, and they are all in.
The guy right here, we have had a very crazy battle. I think it was 2023 or 4, December. Yeah, about to be 2024. Cold. It was probably
went to about 9 overtime holes.
Yeah, it was probably 15 degrees. They went to about 10:30 p.m. underneath the lights. We were doing a match play event. This
my
tournament.
poor wife's waiting for me at home.
Yeah,
my phone's died.
We've got cars driving around in the back, just shining the lights on. I mean, it's amazing.
So if you're interested in following the TGA, there's an Instagram page, Tennis Golf Association. We've been on the news. You can find the news clip too.
Rocket City Open is coming up July 30th. For any listeners who maybe want to play, my phone number is 256-924-5026. It's going to be a $20 entry fee. We have a championship dinner. You must wear the proper attire, but great overall event. I think it's the best event in the world. What would you say? Would you think it's the best event in the world, Noah?
Yeah, I love it. Rocket City Open. I'll be getting my bats out and I'll be ready. Houston, trivia time.
Okay.
Houston's got a trivia question for us today.
All right, good.
I do. And since it's Wimbledon, I wanted to go back to, it's not necessarily all about
all
Wimbledon.
Whites.
Yeah,
all whites.
Yeah.
So this trivia question is between Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal. It's all 4 majors combined. their total amount of wins between all 3 of them at just majors. So all the wins they've ever had at the 4 majors combined to get to a number. It's an absurd amount.
I'm gonna get this.
You think you're going to get the exact number?
Yeah, I'm gonna get this.
That's insane.
We're talking match wins.
Match wins between Australian
Yeah.
Open for all 3,
Yeah.
French, Wimbledon, US.
I'll talk you through my thought process.
Okay.
It's got to be, you need 7 wins to win the tournament, right? And they have about 60 slams
22,
amongst themselves.
And 20, so
you're looking for
66.
60 times 7 at a minimum. But I would go ahead and almost double it because they were almost in the final against each other every time, and there's 3 of them. So I'd be looking at 60 times 7 doubled. You're looking at close to 900 wins. What do you think?
I was going 1,500.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be higher. Let's go in the middle, 1,200.
I'm going 1,500.
I'm going
I'm
12.
straight.
I'm going 1250.
Do I give the answer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the total amount is 1,088. So very good math there by y'all.
Nice,
That was
nice.
very impressive. Who has the most out of the 3?
Djokovic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so Novak has 405. Then Federer's got 369, and Rafa's got 314.
And Rafa was injured for about 10 of them.
So he's actually only got 58 wins at Wimbledon. So that's pretty crazy.
So I hope everyone enjoyed listening in this week to some team tennis. I really enjoyed having Hugh on as a guest. Hugh, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Houston, long-time listener of the pod, so it's fun to
Sure,
get
yeah.
him on. Our pod preview next week, Philip.
Tennisisms. It's
boy.
a new series. So where we will be discussing things that you have probably heard a coach tell you before.
Okay.
And we will deep dive into why it's often not necessarily right, or at least incomplete, and maybe why
I like that.
it is right. So we're going to cover those, and I have a lot, so that's why it's going to be an ongoing
Yeah,
series.
that's a good one.
Yeah, tennisisms. Things you hear that, unless explained to real detail, make almost no impact. My pod dedication this week, being a team tennis, college tennis kind of vibe, I'm going to dedicate it to all the players that I played with in my time at UAH.
Nice.
Every single teammate, I know some of them listen, made a huge impact on not just my tennis journey, but my life. I have great relationships with every single one to this day. And just made such a difference to my life. And so, this is almost less than you guys deserve of dedicating this podcast to you guys. We always finish with a quote. So I have a good one about a team from Phil Jackson.
Wow. Yeah.
Big
like
Phil
it.
Jackson fan.
Yeah.
The strength of the team is the individual member. The strength of each member is the team.
That's very.
And so I like the way that's put. So we'll leave you to think about that one. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to Game Set and Chat. If you enjoyed hanging out with us, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We'll see you next time. Until then, just keep swinging.